Okay, so we'll start. Okay, I'm audible.
Yes, sir, audible.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. So today we are going to start with the unit number two, that is a block cipher. So up to it, we are covered with the first unit. So in a quick time, I'll just give the small review of unit number one. So what we study in unit number one. So simply, there are 3 to 4 important points from the unit number one. So first one is the OSI security architecture. So in a OSI security architecture, we can study various security mechanism, various security services. Okay, so after that, we'll also study the what kind of attacks are possible in a network security. Okay, so that might be an active attack or a passive attack, how the attack can be overcome, or what are the different types of attacks. So that part were covered under the various types of attacks. So after that, we can study the one important model of network security. So how the model can be works, okay, how it can be implemented. So in order to design a network security model, what kind of algorithms are there, okay, so based on these, how we can do the encryption as well as decryption. So that part we can cover under the network security model. Okay, so in order to design the network security model, we also require the various algorithms. Okay, so we can study the different types of algorithms. So that algorithms we can study in the two types of technique. One is a substitution technique and another is a transposition technique. Okay, so under these two techniques we can study total 8 to 9 algorithms. So we can study the 6 algorithms in a substitution technique, and we can study the 3 algorithms in a transposition techniques. Okay, so these are the some basic algorithms regarding the network security. Okay, so it is an overview of unit number one. Now we have to move towards the unit number two. Okay, so in unit number one, we can study the some basic algorithms related to the network security, how it can be works, how we can encrypt the data, how we can decrypt the data. Okay, so now in our unit number two, that is called as a block cipher. Okay, so basically, what is the title of our second unit, that is a block cipher. So in this case, so here we can use the word as a block. Okay, so the cipher stands for any algorithms that can be used for the encryption or decryption. Okay, so what is the meaning of a block in this case? So here we can encrypt the data, yeah, we can transmit the information in the form of various blocks. Okay, so how we can transmit the information in the form of block, how we can encrypt it, how we can decrypt it. Okay, so that we have to study in our unit number 2. Okay, so these are the some contents of the unit number 2. So in this unit we have to study the various algorithms. Okay, so that might be related to what is the concept of block cipher, how the data can be encrypted, what are the different types of standards. Okay, so the most common algorithms that can be used for the encryption is that data encryption algorithm. Okay, so that is called as a DES algorithm. Okay, so this algorithm is a very important in a network security. Okay, so we have to study the DES algorithm in our this unit. Okay, so along with these algorithms, we have to study the some mostly common used algorithm in a network security. Then what is the concept of block cipher, what is the concept of steam cipher, how the various algorithm can be works, or how it can be implemented. Okay, so there are the number of concepts regarding network security we have to study in our unit number 2. Okay, so these are the some basic contents of unit number 2. So we have to go in a detail of each content. Okay, so basically why what is the need to study the concept of block cipher. Okay, so the requirement of the network security. Okay, so our aim to use the network security is that our data should be secure. Okay, so in order to secure our data, so we have to make our system very strong. Yeah, we have to design a very secure system. So in order to design a secure system, we design the various algorithms. Okay, and once the algorithms can be designed, so we have to implement that particular algorithms. Okay, so we require the knowledge of these algorithms, how it can be implemented, how it can be designed. Okay, and where it can be used. Okay, so this concept we have to study in a unit number 2. Okay, so we'll just start with the contents. So the first point is that the steam cipher. Okay, so in a unit number 1 we can study the various types of ciphers: Caesar cipher, then polyalphabetic cipher. Okay, so these are the various algorithms related to the network security. Okay, so now if we have to design the various advanced algorithms. Okay, my voice is audible, it's clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So if we have to design the more secured algorithms, yeah, we have to design the various high accuracy algorithms. So for that case, we have to study the two important concepts. One is a steam cipher and another is a block cipher. Okay, so these two concepts are the two important in this our second unit. Okay, so we have to design the various algorithms. So in order to design that algorithm, we have to first know the two concepts, the two basic concepts, that is called as a steam cipher, and second one is a block cipher. Okay, now first we'll understood the concept of steam cipher. Okay, so the steam cipher can convert the plain text into the cipher text by taking a one byte from the plain text at a time. Okay, so what is the concept of steam cipher? So we have a plain text. Okay, so that is called as the original message. So the original message contains the lot of numbers, lot of information. So first we can convert the plain text into the cipher text by using the various algorithms. And the concept of steam cipher is that so we can convert, yeah, we can convert the our plain text into the cipher text by using the byte-wise operations. So if the plain text, or if the our original message might be a 4 bit, 8 bit, or it might be a in 16 bits. So all the operations can be converted from the plain text to the ciphertext by using the byte-wise operations. So sometimes we can transmit 4 bits at a time, sometimes we can transmit 8 bits at a time. Okay, so it depends on the input message, how we can transmit the information from the plain text to the ciphertext. Okay, so the basically the steam cipher can use the concept of Figner cipher and Farnham cipher. Okay, so in our unit number 1, we can study the concept of Figner cipher and Farnham cipher, how the message can be encrypted and how the message can be decrypted. So we can take the one example also, and based on that one example, we can take the example of electronics engineering, and we can apply the key, and once the key is applied, so we can encrypt the message, and the same message if we decrypt, then we can get the plain text. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, let's start. Okay, so basically how the stream cipher can be works. So basically it can be used for the encryption as well as the decryption. Okay, so now everyone focus on your screen how the message can be encrypted and how the message can be decrypted by using the stream cipher. Okay, so basically for this stream cipher, so we can use the various types of keys. Okay, so we can encrypt our message with the help of a key. Okay, so in order to make information more secure, so along with our plain text we can provide the one security key. Okay, so how the security key can be added? So here we can use the XOR operation for the encryption. Okay, so how the XOR operation can be works. Okay, we'll take the one example and we can understand how the stream cipher can encrypt the message. Okay, so first we have to use the encryption techniques. So we can use the bit stream generation algorithm that is called as a stream cipher. Okay, so for encryption, first we can do the encryption by using the XOR operation, and once the message is encrypted, so at the receiver side we can also decrypt the message by using the XOR operation. Okay, so first the plain text can be encrypted. So once the plain text can be encrypted, so we'll get the ciphertext. Okay, so that ciphertext can understood only by the receiver. Okay, so the hacker cannot able to understood what information can be encrypted. Yeah, what is the meaning of that particular ciphertext? Okay, so in order to read this particular information, so at the receiver side, so the receiver can decrypt the message by using the key. Okay, so here we can use any random key. Okay, so with the help of this key we can do the XOR operation and we can encrypt the message as well as we can decrypt the message. Okay, so we'll take a one simple example how the message can be encrypted and decrypted by using the stream cipher. Okay, so here we can take any input message. It might be a in place of words, or it might be a in a letters, or it might be in a numbers. So here we can take a one random message. Okay, so for this particular message we can use the same length key. Okay, so if our message it having a 8 bit, 10 bit, 12 bit, so we have to use the same length key. So if our letters are 10 letters are there, then we have to use the key of the same letters, that is a 10. Okay, so first we have to do the encryption. So how we can do the encryption? So in order to do the encryption we can use the XOR operation. So can anyone tell what is the truth table for XOR operation? Yes, there is a truth table for XOR operation. So here we can take the binary numbers. Yes, what is the truth table for XOR operation? Can anyone? Okay, so here we have to use the XOR operation. So if the input bits are different, then our output is a 1. That means for 0 1 and 1 0 the output should be 1, and for 0 0 the output is 0, and for 1 1 also the output is 0. Okay, so first we have to understood the truth table of XOR gate. Okay, so if the input bits are different, then we have to mention 1, and if the input bits are same, then we have to mention 0. Okay, so can anyone encrypt this particular message? So our first base is 1 and 0, so what will be the output? Yes, anyone quickly?
One. One.
Okay, so then second column is a 0 1. So what should be the output?
One.
One.
Okay, so what is the truth table for XOR? So if the input bits are different, then we have to mention 1, and if the input bits are same, then we have to mention 0. Then third is a 1 0, then also we can put a 1. Then next is a 1 and 1. So for this we have to put the 0, right? The next bit is a 0 0. Then XOR operation for 0 0, it should be the 0. For 1 1, again it should be the 0. Okay, so likewise we can encrypt this message by using the XOR operation, and we can get the ciphertext. Okay, so once we get the ciphertext, yeah, the cipher information, so we can transmit this message to the receiver side. Okay, so once the message is encrypted, so there is a less possibility to hack our particular information. Okay, so the hacker does not able to understood, that does not able to read the contents, yeah, what kind of information can hide in this particular message. Okay, so if the receiver have to understood this particular information, so receiver also have the same key. Okay, so with the help of same key, the receiver can decrypt this particular message, and he can get the original information, that is called as a plain text. Okay, so for decryption, so we can first use the ciphertext. Yeah, okay, so our the ciphertext will be 1 1 1, then 3 times 1, 3 times 0, then double 1. Okay, so now we have to use the same key that we can use in the encryption. Okay, so can anyone do the operation of XOR and tell me the plain text? Yes, so this is the result of XOR operation. What should be the output? First is a 1 0, so what should be the output?
One.
One.
1. Then second is a 1 1, output should be 0. Then third is a 1 0, output is 1. Then fourth is a 0 1, output should be the 1. Okay, so likewise we can perform the XOR operation, and we can get the plain text. Now compare this plain text with our original message. Okay, so this, in this way we can also decrypt the message. So once we did the decryption operation, so we got the same information, so that is sended by the sender. Okay, so compare the first row and the last row. Okay, so is the information is same or different?
Same.
Okay, so likewise by using the steam cipher we can encrypt the message, and we can decrypt the message. Okay, so it is the concept of steam cipher. Okay, so the steam cipher can use the key, same key for encryption as well as decryption. Okay, now the second concept is the block cipher. Okay, so in this case, if the information is more, or we can say our input information might be of large numbers, yeah, large letters. So if the information is wide, okay, so consider the input information letter consists of 36. So we can take a one random example, so it having a 36 character. Okay, and suppose the input information is a too long. Okay, so in that case, first we can split the information into the small blocks. Okay, so when we split the information into small blocks, so we can take the same length of block. So we can suppose we can split this 36 divided by 6, so each block consists of the 6 letters. Okay, so we can divide the information into the 6 blocks. Okay, so the same, yeah, the individual blocks contain the 6 letters. Okay, so in a block cipher, So if the information is too large, so at that case we can divide all the information into a small number of blocks, and we can provide the key to each block. Okay, so we can provide the same key to each a block. Okay, so the concept of block cipher is that, so if the information is more, so in that case, so we can split the information into the small number of blocks. Okay, so once the information is splitted into the small number of blocks, we can mention a key to each block. Okay, so based on that key, the message can be encrypted, and the receiver side, the message also decrypted. So it is the concept of block cipher. Okay, so in block cipher we can split the information into the small number of block, and that can be encrypted by using the various algorithms. Okay, so the most commonly used algorithm, that is a Fistel block cipher. Okay, so this algorithm we have to study in our unit number 2. Okay, so the function or the most commonly used algorithm for block cipher is that Fistel block cipher. Okay, so in block cipher we can use this particular algorithm, and we can encrypt the message as well as we can decrypt the particular message. Okay, so these are the two important concepts from the unit number 2. One is a stem cipher and another is a block cipher. Okay, so if we compare these two concepts, so first one is a stem cipher, or we can call it as a block cipher and stem cipher. Okay, so we can easily distinguish between these two ciphers. So in a block cipher, we can convert our plain text into the small number of blocks. Okay, and in a stem cipher, we can do the bitwise operation. Okay, so it is the first basic difference between block cipher and the stem cipher. Okay, so in a block cipher we can convert our plain text. Yeah, we can split the information into the individual blocks, and in a stem cipher we can convert our plain text into the cipher text by using the bitwise operation. Then the block ciphers are the simple to design, and the stem ciphers little bit complex to design. Okay, so why? So if we divide, yeah, if we convert the large information into the small units, then it is easy to encrypt. But in a stem cipher, if we have a large string, then based on the key, so it is too difficult for encryption as well as the decryption. Okay, so that's why the block ciphers are simple to design. Then the block ciphers can be used 64 bits, or it might be 128. So more than 64 bits also can be used in the block ciphers, but the stream ciphers can use 8 bits data. Then how we can transmit the information into the bits: 8 bit, 12 bit, 16 bit, or 64 bits. Okay, so that we have to understood in upcoming algorithms. Okay, so the next difference is in the concept of confusion and diffusion. Okay, so the block cipher can use the concept of confusion and diffusion, and the stem cipher can use only the concept of confusion. Now we have to understood the two concept. One is a confusion and another is a diffusion. Okay, so we have to know the concept of confusion and diffusion. Okay, so once we finish with this distinguish difference, then we have to understand the concept of confusion and diffusion. Then the most commonly used algorithms, the block cipher can use the electronic code book as well as cipher block chaining. These two algorithms, and the stem cipher can use the cipher feedback and output feedback algorithms. Okay, so based on the number of points, we can distinguish these two algorithms. One is a block cipher and another is a stem cipher. And in order to implement these two ciphers, so the block ciphers can use the Fistel cipher, and the stem cipher can use the Farnham cipher. Okay, So for implementation purpose, so the block cipher can use the crystal cipher and the steam cipher can use the Farnham cipher. Okay, so the most important point in this difference is that the concept of confusion and diffusion. So now we'll understood the concept of confusion and diffusion. So these two concepts are used in a various algorithms. Okay, so first we'll understood the concept of confusion. Okay, so okay, so in your last semester we can study the image processing subject. So might be you can study the concept of histogram also. Okay, so in a histogram we can represent our images with the help of some plots, right? So we can take the various input numbers, gray levels, output levels on a x-axis, sorry, gray levels on a x-axis and output levels on a y-axis. So with the help of gray levels we can mention the particular outputs. So likewise we can represent our information in the form of various graphs. Okay, so in diffusion we can represent, yeah, we can hide the information in the case of plain text and ciphertext. Okay, so the diffusion can use these two things, one is a plain text and another is a ciphertext. Okay, so if we change any particular bit from the plain text, then there is a change in a ciphertext. Okay, so in our first unit also we can do the encryption and decryption based on the plain text. Okay, so if we change the plain text, so according to the change in plain text there should be change in the ciphertext. Okay, so basically the diffusion can be used, yeah, it can hide the information between ciphertext and the plain text. Okay, so basically these two concepts can be used to prevent our information from the various attacks. Okay, so the diffusion can be used to hide the information between the plain text and ciphertext, and the confusion can hide the information between the ciphertext and our key. Okay, so once again understood the difference between confusion and diffusion. So the diffusion can hide the information between plain text and ciphertext, and the confusion can hide the information between ciphertext and a key. Okay, so based on these two concepts, we can encrypt our message as well as we can decrypt. Okay, so these two concepts are used to prevent our information or secure our information from the various types of attacks. Okay, so the diffusion can hide the information between plain text and ciphertext, and the confusion can hide the information between the ciphertext and key. Okay, so have you understood the concept of confusion and diffusion? Okay, is there any confusion to
Yes, sir.
understand these two concepts? No confusion? Okay, so
Yes, sir.
these are
No
the
confusion.
two. Okay, so once again keep in mind, so diffusion can hide the information between our plain text and ciphertext, and confusion can hide the information between ciphertext and the key. Okay. Okay, so now we have to move towards the next algorithms. So our first algorithm is a ideal block cipher. Okay, so we have to encrypt our message. Yeah, we have to make our information more secure. So for that, we have to study the various types of algorithms. So the first algorithm is an ideal block cipher. So it is the concept of ideal block cipher. So it can be do various bitwise operations. Okay, so our if the input bits are it might be a 4 bit, 8 bit, 16 bit or 32 bit. Okay, so according to the input bit, we can hide the information by using the ideal block cipher. Okay, so here it can be used the formula as a 2 raised to n. Okay, so suppose that our input bits are 4. Okay, so what should be the 2 raised to 4? Here, so it is a 2 raised to 4. Okay, so in this ideal block cipher, we can do the bitwise operation. So if the input bits are 4, then use the formula 2 raised to n, that is a 2 raised to 4, that is a 16. Okay, so based on the input bits, we can design the ideal block cipher. Okay, so here we can consider our input bits are 4. Okay, so based on the input bits, okay, so first we have to use the encoder and decoder. So here first we can use the 4 to 16 decoder. So 5 we can use the 4 to 16 decoder. So because the ideal block cipher can use the formula as 2 raised to n. So what should be the 2 raised to 4? There is a 16. So first we can convert our 4-bit information into a 16-bit. So for that we can use 4 to 16 decoder. So here we can mention the numbers from 0 to 15, and after that we have also get the information at the side of in output in the form of 4-bit also. So for that we have to use the 16 to 4 encoder. Okay, so here we can hide the information into the various numbers. Suppose at the 0th position information can be hide into in place of the 14, then 1 is hide into the 4, 2 is hide into the. So according to the mapping, we can hide the information by using the ideal block cipher. Okay, so it is a standard algorithm. So based on this mapping, we can hide the information in the ideal block cipher. Okay, so if the our input message is a 8 bit, so according to the 2 raised to 8, so we have to design the ideal block cipher for this 8 bit size. Okay, so here we can consider input is 4 bit, so that's why we can design the ideal block cipher up to the 16 bits, and we can mention the numbers from 0 to 15. Okay, so have you understood the structure of ideal block cipher? So why we can use the number from 0 to 15? Yeah, why we can use the decoder as the 4 to 16, encoder as the 16 to 4. Yes. So our input bits are 4. So we can use the formula as a 2 raised to 4. So 2 raised to 4 is a 16. So we can use 16-bit encoder as well as 16-bit decoder. Okay, so based on this particular mapping, we can hide our information. So if we hide the information in such algorithms, so the hacker or attacker cannot able to understood the contents of this particular message. Okay, so likewise we have to study the various algorithms. So is the first algorithms from the unit number 1, that is called as a ideal block cipher. Okay, so have you understood the concept of ideal block cipher, how we can design the ideal block cipher? So basically it depends on a input bits. Okay, so if we take the input bit as a 4 bits, then we can design our ideal block cipher up to the 16 bits. So that can be represented from 0 to 15. Okay, so it is the concept of ideal block cipher. Okay, so have you understood it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so consider how we can did the mapping. So depending on the input size, depending on the input information, if the input bits are 4, so we have to design these particular algorithms, and we have to use the standard mapping. So 0 is mapped to 14, 1 is mapped to 4. Okay, so likewise we can hide the information into the ideal block cipher. And at the receiver side, so the receiver can also decrypt the particular message, and we can get the message into the 4-bit size. Okay, so it is a concept of ideal block cipher. Okay, so there is a one more algorithm that is called as a Feistel cipher structure. Okay, so this point we'll take in the next lecture. So there are some disadvantages of the ideal block cipher. So due to this, we can use the Feistel cipher structure. Okay, so in the next lecture, we can understood what are the disadvantage of ideal block cipher, why it cannot be used, and what is the necessity of Feistel cipher structure and how it can be designed. Okay, so if you have any doubt, you can ask here. Yes, any doubts? Okay, if you have no doubts, then we'll stop here. So you can give your attendance. So roll number 1. Roll number 1 is there.
Yes, sir.
Put your number. 2,
Yes, sir.
3. Yes, put your numbers.
Yes, sir.
4, 5. Roll number 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20 absent, 21. Okay, 21 to 25, 26 to 30, 26 to 30, 31 to 35, 31 to 35. No one? 36 to 40, 41 to 45, 46 to 50, 51 to 55, 51 to 55, 56 to 62, Okay, so today we'll stop here. We'll continue in the next lecture. Okay, Vaishnavi More is there. Roll number 26.
Yes, sir.
काल तुम्ही कॉल केलता. You can call me.
हा. सर काय नाही ते ह्याचं विचारायचं होतं. उद्या ऑफर लेटर घ्यायला लागते स्पायडरचं. उद्या आलं तर चालेल का?
ऍक्च्युली काल मी वर्कशॉपमध्ये होतो त्यामुळे रिसिव्ह नाही करत आला. ठीक आहे, घेऊ शकता, कलेक्ट करू शकता तुम्ही आज.
आज नाही सर,
हा.
उद्या.
ठीक आहे, करू शकता, नो प्रॉब्लेम.
हा ठीक आहे.
ओके.